I'm gonna jump on stream too, fuck it. Some nice rippies going on. Let's go. What's everybody doing today?
Not too many rippies though. It's. I mean, it's been going. Most of the market's up by like almost 1% or 2. Uh, it's for the most part stagnant though. Nothing too crazy. The volume on GSAT's been ridiculous the past week, but just
We've been
I don't
getting
know what's going on
railed
with
on
it.
it though.
Yeah, but it's back up. It jumped up 10% today at one point in time.
Did it? I haven't even looked at it all today. Just see our options are worth garbanzo. I'm gonna look into these Motley Fool articles here a little bit. Just got the Stonko. Got a lot of fucking shorts today. I'm gonna check out unusual whales quick, see if got anything going on in the flow chart. Oh, there's a $6 million. Oh, somebody sold a $6 million call. $40 strike price. Somebody bought a $38 one. It's not much big activity going on though for AMC.
The iPhone 13 wasn't gonna have satellite capabilities, so GSAT like that it crashed yesterday. But it doesn't mean. I mean, they're still partnering with Apple, so they were using the news to cover a sell-off.
I'm with Wired. I'm always with Wired. We're we're at 66.6 for dark pools like all day. Yeah, that doesn't look good at all. 66
We need to
point eight.
consolidate at the current level. So, like, if I pull up AMC,
You must see his reflection.
yeah, but remember I called it, dude. I told you we're gonna dip down, come back up, and consolidate around 50, 49.50. Very rarely when I call stuff out am I wrong. It's kind of weird, dude.
Well, don't you have that one think it swim all that shit too? All your volume charts and stuff?
Yeah, yep. I'm tracking basically supply and demand.
Dark flows good going on.
We're currently in
Block
our current
Tesla.
point of control is $45. So we're gonna hang around $45 for a bit. Yeah.
I think so.
Oh yeah. We have a gap to fill down there.
Can't believe they got 2 million more fucking shorts available.
Everybody's all excited about a gamma squeeze, but you just can't get excited about it.
Wait, anytime we're about to, what's that, babe? Anytime we get excited about anything, they know.
He is a regular person. It's pretty cool.
Well, if they got that many shorts, we're at right now 46.08. What do you think we're gonna end at today? Probably
You know,
around 45 then.
uh, yeah. Remember, yeah, we're gonna probably finish around the $45 mark because remember we're gonna float up to like 49.50 by the end of the week.
Yep. Got everyone excited on those options. And what do you know? All right.
Yeah, and those options aren't gonna gamma squeeze us unless they want us to, right? Like I think we're gonna fill the gaps, and as soon as we fill the gap, then they're gonna let the options run the price up,
Mm.
and then we're gonna start filling the next gap.
Yeah, there's not very
Dude, I
many.
love on the stream how we both are just looking up to watch the video.
Oh yeah, you're watching. What video are you watching again?
It's the FTC's, like they're voting on bills right now. This is huge, dude. There should be way more people watching this.
Yeah, I mean. But it's July. Whoop. Dude, am I
You
retarded?
mind muting, man?
Yeah.
Households as well. Every night, households decide whether they will order takeout, go to a restaurant, or make their own dinner. This simple example hopefully makes clear that moving production inside the household or company rather than buying in the market is not inherently anti-competitive. And we should be wary of characterizations that vertical mergers are always or nearly always a problem. Sound economics just doesn't support that characterization. As I noted at the outset, the majority is proposing to withdraw the vertical merger guidelines and commentary with
How
no
long is
notice
this
to the public,
going on for?
essentially no opportunity to comment, and no replacement guidance. The same approach may soon be taken with the horizontal merger
And there's a
guidelines.
big old red one.
In an effort to promote transparency and provide guidance to the business community as it attempts to address supply chain vulnerabilities exposed by the COVID-19 pandemic, I offer the following topping motion. I move that the Commission instruct staff to conduct merger investigations in a manner that is consistent with the principles described in the 2010 Horizontal Merger
Going on.
Guidelines and the 2020 Vertical Merger Guidelines until new guidelines are issued.
And there's a
Thank you,
big old
Commissioner
red one.
Wilson. Is there a second on the topping motion?
I second the motion.
Okay, having heard a second on the topping motion, I will call for a vote on it. Commissioner Wilson?
I vote yes.
Yeah,
Commissioner
those order
Slaughter?
imbalances, they would have taken care of that
Commissioner
already.
Chopra?
But if we keep going to exchanges, they'll get right
Commissioner
back on
Chopra,
those
you're no.
imbalances. So
No.
And Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
And I vote no. The topping motion has failed. Commissioner Wilson, did you have anything else to add? Otherwise, we'll resume with discussion on the underlying motion.
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Commissioner Slaughter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have been beating the drum about the FTC's substantial under-enforcement of vertical mergers for years now,
but if we
beginning
keep
with
going
my
to
dissents in
exchanges,
Staples
they'll
Ascendant
get right
and
back on those
Fresenius Next
imbalances.
Stage,
So
and
no, I'm not gonna keep watching that. You let me know what's going on in that voting, my friend. What, baby?
I'll be back in about like 3 minutes there, Biggums.
Sounds
3 to
good.
4 minutes.
Jump in with Sam quick. No, I don't know if I want to have everybody listen to him yell. So many people he's got there. He might have like 6,000. Yeah, I'm not gonna jump in there. Way too many people. We're at 4620 in case you can't see your screen. What was your take on that? We'll jump until Sam starts yelling, then we'll jump up. What's up, everyone?
Yeah, the distortion. The distortion of light from the
Yeah,
stars.
distortion of light. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get back into this. Where the hell is? Let's go ahead and find out some more.
Mute.
The fucking thing. Let's go ahead and find out some more illegal stuff going on with Motley Fool. All right. All right. AMC's at 4613 if you care. Alright, so let's find out some more stuff we can complain on the Motley Fool, shall we? So, I don't know if you guys can read that. We're gonna zoom in. No, I think we're gonna go down a little bit more again. They still have a shit ton of shorts available. They're gonna use them. Volume. Dark pool quick. Yeah, I mean, we're still sending a shit ton of dark pools. So even if there is buys, large blocks are going down. I mean, it's larger than most days, but I think somebody might have did a little sell-off. So that's why I went down right away. Somebody said that iceberg stupid-ass hedge fund company opened up, or said that they're going short in AMC again, which we saw what happened to them last time. But I'm gonna find some more illegal shit they're doing, so let's get back to reading this stuff quick.
Ric Flair came out here and said that I didn't have it anymore. Ric Flair came out here last week and said, my best days were behind me.
Restrictions, cares. Fees and compensation. Let's figure out how they get compensated, shall we?
Now I need to pass the torch to Triple H. He said that
So they are compensated in connection with providing advisory services to a fund. So you have a particular conversation. Fund to fund, we can explain.
into that very, very private room. Look into the mirror.
I'm gonna literally fuck Motley Fool's
and
world
tell
up.
themselves the truth. Well, the truth is, the Heartbreak Kid is alive and well. Indeed he is. Now I'll admit, obviously,
AMC, we're just still sitting at 46-21.
the World Heavyweight Championship.
Alright. It's paid by fund
But
advisors.
let's make no mistake about it. Last night at Armageddon, HBK stole the show.
Okay, directed by each fund.
3 falls.
We're gonna find
Flaming
everything we could possibly find on these fucking pieces of trash. That dude, I don't know if y'all saw last night, but that
crashing down through
Sean Williams loser, dude, he came at me real strong. He said I was a pump and dump master, so we go ahead and
crashing down.
take his company down here real quick.
Oh yes, I went down, but I went down the only way HBK goes down, and that is in a blaze of glory.
Incentive allocation. Here we go. With respect to the fund
Now,
advisors.
last night was brutal, but I got to admit,
We'll receive a performance fee or an incentive allocation equal to 15% of the series interest of shares held by the capital.
since we've already done 2 out of 3, why don't we try 3 out of 5 right here, right now? That's a great idea. Wait a minute. Yeah. Triple H. Ric Flair said, to be the man, you gotta beat the man. Well, man, get out here and let me beat you. Well, Shawn Michaels is calling out the game. Is the game for this challenge from Shawn Michaels. Triple H, HBK, right now, right here.
Yeah, that guy was a loser, dude. Let's see, run out of money soon, or are they able to keep this up? It depends on who you're talking about, who you're going after. If we're talking about a squeeze, I don't know. Eventually, a squeeze is going to happen here pretty quick because those hedge funds aren't going to be able to keep shorting and stuff like that. But no, if you're talking about market makers running out of money anytime soon, I don't see that happening. They are making money every single time we buy. They're obviously, this week alone, look, they're probably killing in options. They write 40% of them, so they're making a lot of money back. So I keep saying, if you're going to do options, that's fine, but just not financial advice. Just make sure you do them out far, because there's no reason to do a quick weekly option. If you do, yeah, she's watching wrestling from like 2001. She loves that shit. That's when wrestling was good. But yeah, so with those options, like I was saying, there's no reason to write a quick one to just try and make a quick buck. Yeah, they're going to be cheap, but you see what they do every single week. They make it so you guys try and buy them on Monday, and then come Tuesday, what do? They just short the fuck out of it and kill it down. So it's like, just be smart with them. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a little more costly to get them down the road, but at the same time, you don't have to sit there and worry about it and lose fucking these premiums left and right. AMC. I mean, we're getting some bullish calls. I mean, options change basically 50-50 right now. I don't think we have any big whales buying in at all right now either. No. Dark pool numbers. too fucking high still. We're at 66.8.
Right there. Who you think's more sexy? Oh, stop it. Oh, you think Sean is more sexy?
Oh,
I don't think I should judge that. I'm not a qualified judge of that category. Oh, you think Shawn Michaels is disrespectful? Just who thinks disrespectful? What about who's sexy or who's pretty or who's charismatic?
If I could spell this morning, Jesus. It's both, but the market makers, like I was saying, if you guys want a MOAS squeeze, like you want something that's insane amount of money, you have to take the market makers down. You can take down hedge funds, but like I said, it's only going to go up as high as those hedge funds have to cover. And like we were seeing with iHort, just because the price is insanely high for some of these hedge funds, they might not have to cover. So it's all about how much we can get the price to make them start losing money. Because until they start losing a lot of money, there's no reason for them to even cover. Even if short interest is super high, it doesn't really matter.
Because the HBK of old would have defied the odds. You would have silenced the skeptics, Sean.
Get back to exposing this fucking trash company, Motley Fool. The market makers have to cover synthetics. The market makers, they'll be the ones that have to cover synthetics. They're the ones that are writing all the synthetics. If you don't get the market makers to collapse, they don't have to cover those synthetics. Like I said, you're just going to get whatever the hedge funds have to cover. And it might even just be the small ones. It might just be the medium ones. Because if the bigger hedge funds can, like I said, they can afford to keep that trade still. That's what I'm saying, man. Getting to a lit exchange is everything, because you have to take the market maker down if you want a MOAS. Otherwise, what's the difference between this short squeeze, in all honesty, what's the difference between this short squeeze and anyone in history? They've all had synthetics. Like I said, the only way to get a MOAS squeeze is to get them to cover those synthetics. Otherwise, like I said, this is no different than just another squeeze. And squeezes then it's so unpredictable, because it could be like a Tesla squeeze, it could be like a Volkswagen squeeze, but the Volkswagen squeeze was between two parties, and that's why it shot up right away. We have a lot of people, so it could be more of a Tesla type squeeze, because there's so many more people. We're not going to come to an agreement on a price like they did with with Volkswagen right away. So that's what I'm saying. Like you guys want a squeeze, you got to start going after your opponents. That's how you get a squeeze. You need to make it costly for your opponents. Otherwise, because the other thing too, a lot of people see is that short interest will keep going up. Short interest keeps going up. But let's say I'm a hedge fund and I shorted at 30, and 15 more hedge funds came in and they shorted it. Now the price is 25. Short interest went up, but that first guy's actually making money. Why would he leave the trade at that point? So, like I said, we gotta actually attack your opponent. You guys gotta look at who you're going against. And in a short squeeze play, you actually have an opponent. You have somebody who's going against your position. So it's completely different than just playing the stock market, just sitting there and watching it. I mean, you can do it that way, but it's just taking so much. It's gonna make it take so much longer. Anything Dave Lauer ever posts, I watch or read. So I'm gonna read this in a second. Wait a second, I'm not gonna read about Facebook right now. Let's get back to exposing the Motley Fool, shall we?
Do it again.
AMC is still sitting at 46.18. If you can't watch, we're just kind of stagnant. Oh shit ton of shorts.
Check it out. Bang! There you go. Lights out for Chris Jericho. You're right. He ran his mouth a little bit too much.
An epic market crash. See, a lot of people think a market crash is going to be the thing that will make this happen for sure, and I don't believe that. I mean, they're literally called hedge funds. They're hedging for a market crash. And not only that, you got to think, if we're going versus the market makers, they see when people are selling before people sell. So even if they're not 100% prepared for that crash, they're going to see it before it happens because they front run it. So they're going to know right away no matter what, and they're going to be able to hedge for that. That's literally the point of them. They're already, on top of that, I know that they send their clients little reports on like where they're going to go with their money in the next couple of months. And I'm sure that most of their clients actually know that a crash will probably be coming and they're planning on it because they give them updates. So their clients, that's what would have usually made them have to, cover. But their clients, if they don't pull out, then they're not going to have to cover. I mean, they're going to have all that money still to just play with. And on top of that, they're going to make money on the downside. They're going to make it on the buyback. And what a lot of people don't look at is like crypto. So let's say, the stock market crashes. Well, you guys all know they have all their money over in crypto. You guys see it every day. They fuck with crypto. So what do you guys think they're going to do? The second the market crashes, they're going to take all their money from crypto, liquidate it, make everybody hold the bag that was in crypto on retail, and then they're going to buy back all their blue chip stocks again. I mean, it's literally like the easiest thing to ever see in front of everyone's face. They're literally going to use crypto to make a comeback in the stock market when it crashes. So make sure that when you're in crypto or anything like that, again, not financial advice, but just make sure you're watching it, and because that could definitely have a extremely hard crash as well. A lot of people think that they're going to crash crypto before they crash their stocks, but I don't think they will. They have way more crypto or money in crypto, so they're going to cash in their blue chip stocks, letting that crash, then taking their crypto and buying it back at a cheaper discounted price. And like I said, they can make way more money doing it that way. So I don't really think a stock market crash is going to be the answer that everybody thinks, unfortunately. The only way that we can fuck the market maker up, literally the only way is you just got to get out of payment for order flow. You got to get all of our orders out of the over-the-counter market, because every time they do that, they're making more money. And as long as they're making money and we keep buying, they're going to keep doing this play because it's beneficial for them. It's not beneficial for the hedge funds, but for the market makers, it's a completely different story. And like I said, if you want to go after a MOAS type squeeze, Public is actually trash, man. Public, I posted this yesterday. Public is, so I want everyone, if you follow Matt Kors, or if you talk to the guy in any way, shape, or form, please show him this, because he sits here and peddles this. Oh, wait, it's the other one. Peddles Public all day long, and it's just stupid. It's like, Matt, come on. You can do 2 minutes of research and find this, dude. You're literally just lazy at this point. And I don't care. I'm going to call you out on that. You're literally just being fucking super lazy, and you have all these people looking up to you and following your word. So please do your own DD, buddy, and realize that it's fucking trash, dude. Here we go. Let's all read this together. Basically, Public's ordering. I don't care about any of this crap. Basically, they are an OTTC because they do not accept overpayment for it. Blah, blah, blah. When you submit an order to them, we send that to a market center for fulfillment of execution. Market centers fall into 3 broad categories: traditional stock exchanges, ATS, aka dark pools, and market makers. So, they have the ability, as you can see in this picture, they do best execution, whoever's going to make them most money, and guess what? They can go right to the market maker or the exchange, and guess who's going to have the better execution? The market maker 100% of the time, not an exchange. So, Matt, if you're ever watching, any of your fans, please go ahead and show him this, because he's completely wrong. And he's just helping them out. So, Public is honestly bad. See, this is one of the biggest misconceptions about all this thing. Payment for order flow is not the problem. Payment for order flow is the fuel to the fire. Payment for order flow automatically makes your order over the counter, no matter what. But that happens on, as you can see, it happens on things that aren't payment for order flow. Fidelity takes that same exact path. Fidelity will take this path. They go to anyone unless you go on Active Trader Pro and tell them specifically where you want to go. They use smart routing. This is smart routing. Smart routing can send to a market maker, and they will almost every single time. Can you not turn on direct routing? What you can't turn on direct routing on public, no. Public just does. I just showed you guys. Public just does that. That's all they do. They just send to market centers, and then from that market center, they don't even really care or control who grabs it. It's just whatever one they grab it to. So market centers are, like I said, it's the same thing. It's going straight to a dark pool, guys. There's no difference. I mean, that's literally straight from their website. Whoop.
It's a main event. What do you think? Why don't we just go out now? Have your ceremony now. No. No, why not?
So I had to talk shit to Sean Loser last night. This guy's coming real strong. Like I said, public market makers. They go to market maker, market centers, they go to ATS dark pools, and then sometimes they'll go to traditional stock exchanges. Only and if only it's the best price, and it's never going to be the best price.
Having Scott Steiner coming out and signing his contract during the main event. Scott Steiner. You're gonna give Scott Steiner.
Yeah, I seen they were doing soon, but if you guys want to use a cell phone and just go to a direct exchange, just use TD Thinkorswim. It's the easiest thing to do.
Is nothing but a jacked up piece of trash who couldn't pull my job on his best day. Alright? So, if you're even thinking about giving Scott Steiner my main event spot, you better think again. Because if you do, I will pull a Stone Cold Steve Austin on you. I will walk out on this company, and I will take that World Heavyweight Championship with me faster than you can blink an eye. Now, what do you think about that? It's not a problem, champ. It's not a problem. We'll work it out. Yeah, promise. You know it wouldn't be. We'll work it out.
Like I said, yeah, like I said, man, if we don't start doing direct, like I said, you're just gonna give the market makers money forever. They're not gonna die off, and we're just gonna kill off hedge funds. And now at that point, you gotta look at what hedge funds are actually shorting it, how much, and then you can kind of do a math on how much it could squeeze to. But like I said, if we don't MOAS, if we don't take down the hedge funds, this is no different than any other squeeze play in history.
When we get out there tonight, there's one leader, and it's Batista. Not Ric Flair.
66.8%.
I know what I'm talking about. We get out there.
Lots of people are buying a lot, so that's good.
Follow Batista, no problem. And then all we gotta do is concentrate on that big victory party over Kane and RVD. Any questions? Good.
They're still not using those shorts, so we could still see a pretty nice drop. Oh, we're already going down. 45.85. 45.78. Now let's check out the Stonko tracker and see. Calls in the money stuff a lot. Jesus Christ. Now, do you guys see what I'm talking about?
Tell Steiner to come directly to me. Okay? To me.
Yeah, we have 120,000 in, but we have 415,000 out. probably stop loss hunting, or like I said, I mean these. It could just be some institutions selling off too. I mean it's really not that big a deal. Good. I mean it's 12. It's usually 9%, 3% on volume on 70, 30 or whatever. We're at 50 million volume. That's a lot. And if those are all cells, or if most of this 12% is cells. See, the thing is, a huge misconception a lot of people have is oh man, we want these institutions to come in. We want them to. Why? We get those institutions to come in. Guess what they're doing? You want institutions to come in a normal stock play, because if normal stock play, that means that obviously the stock price isn't going to lower. These guys think it's going to go up. Usually institutional buying means good things for that stock going forward. But in a squeeze play, whenever we get these institutions buying, guess who's creating these? Guess why every day you wake up there's more and more of these? It's institutions. They're borrowing them out. So it's like it's not necessarily good. And guess what? When we start skyrocketing up, guess who's going to sell? These institutions are going to sell. So getting a super amount of institutions in a squeeze play is not necessarily good, especially when we know we're going to keep buying those shares anyways. So you'd rather have those shares in apes' hands than in an institution's hands, because those apes, are going to hold longer than an institution will. We stopped at 45.78. Kind of chilling there. Check the flow. See what we got going on. And that's the thing too, is you always see these spies. Like, people are taking a lot of spy puts out too. So there is going to be a crash here. I just don't know when, but there will 1,000% be one. ADR, BABA, BABA. What the hell? BABA. To actually go look at BABA. What the fuck? 1 second, people. Gotta check this stock up. I have to make a quick little purchasey.
Mr. Mayor!
Getting a little quick play there. Thoughts on the Evergrande? I mean, dude, it's just gonna get crazy, man. I mean, that's basically the same stuff happening here, and then they just switched all their bonds to junk bonds, so they're now C plus. Corruption all over the world, my friend. That's because you gotta realize the one thing about YouTubers, what do they have that I don't have? Affiliation links. They can't say this stuff. They get paid to not. AMC's is chilling at 45.84, in case you can't see your computer screen. Yeah, and that's crazy. 66.9, so more people are buying. Odd lot percentage went up since last time. Like, so more people are buying, and guess where they're going? They're going right into the dark pool. So more people are buying on payment for full type systems. Spread the word, guys. Spread the word, my friends. If you're in here, you should be telling everyone you know. Until those go down, we don't get them all ass. So. Exactly what I was just saying. Big YouTubers don't do it because they have affiliation links. How else can they get people to sign up for the free stocks? Oh, I should fucking spell. We're back. Yeah, we're just in at 45. Oh, moving up a little bit. Moving up a little bit. 45.91. But I don't see us. I don't see us moving much today, though. Honestly, I think they're gonna hit it right at the end. They're gonna probably saving these shorts either for another hit super bad tomorrow, or they're going to wait till we do power hour and hit them at power hour so we don't move up too fast. But they're going to make sure that these options, they're going to kill us on these options this week. See, that's the thing, too. This is another thing that they're using against us. So every single time we sit there and get them closer to having to cover and maybe move down, guess what? The next week, that week, whenever they're slowly losing, they just kill us right back in options and get right back on track. So, it's, like I said, you guys, weekly options are so stupid. They're retarded. I mean, they're literally planning on us doing this every week. They literally let it run up every Monday because they know the next day if we run up, everyone's going to go, oh, this is it, this is it. I love Astro, but every day, every 10 minutes, it can't be the Rippy. You guys can't fall for that every time because when you guys hear it's the Rippy and then go write a weekly option contract, guess what? You're delaying it right back. And we really need to educate. It's not just payment for order flow platforms, you guys. It's the over-the-counter market is the problem. Payment for order flow just sends them to the over-the-counter. We're at 45.89. Six. Institutions are done. Looks like they're done buying and fucking around with their shit. So now we can maybe move back up. See, problem is those institutions I think were selling. So we moved down. They were saving their shorts. So now if we start buying to move back up, they're going to now short us back down. So don't expect a big move at all today. I mean, I expect us in this 45.50 to 46.15-ish range to end the day, to be honest with you. He's about to choke slam his ass. Let's go. Damn. Hi, Paulie. How are you doing, buddy? Just telling everyone probably in around 45.50 to 6.60 or 46.15-ish. It's 45.90. Whatever. Flows. see things coming in. Well, I mean, at least the options change is looking a lot more bullish now, but they're all such small buys. But at least retail's buying them. But what are they, 9? See, these are more weekly calls, though. We're seeing a lot of weekly calls buying pop. Like I said, they're cheap, but this is our problem. Right there. Weekly calls. G done it. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Spoken to Ash related to your thesis about the difference between the MOS. I mean, I've tried to talk to Astro, but he's a celebrity now, man. I don't get much FaceTime with him no more. I think we're back over 46. AMC's back over 46. 4606. Nice little candle there. Yeah, see, Paulie, I don't know if we're going to stay there or not, just because they have so many shorts. Before, I think institutions were selling off, and now that they're done selling off, retail's now buying, so we're coming back, and it's literally all about if they want to short us back down where we're buying, because they easily could, to where we go right back down to 45. It's all about what they want. It's all about these option chains right now, because right now they're just killing us on them. And if they end at 46, let's see what it goes down to. So it was at 4. So there's only 6,000 more. Even if they let it go to 46, there's only 6,000 more options in the money. So that's really not going to hurt them. What's my price target for AMC when it squeezes? Are you talking about like if we do a short squeeze or if we do a MOAS squeeze? I don't think that the SEC will ban retail shares being sold in dark pools, no. Because if you look at my graph, I mean, it's legal to do what they're doing. The only reason they end up in dark pools is because they do these riskless principal trades, which it's not recorded to the tape, and then these clearing broker dealers are actually able to use the dark pool, then it's recorded to the tape. So this is not illegal. Nothing they do here is illegal in this path. So I don't really see them banning anything, to be honest with you. I know he's in love with fractals. You know, everyone's got their thing, man. I mean, hopefully he's right. I don't know. I mean, I think it's just a repeating process, to be honest with you. Every single day we wake up, we short it the same amount. They wake up, guess what? They're going to keep shorting it every day. We keep on buying. Institutions randomly keep buying. So it's basically just a repeating process. And I mean, if you look at these graphs half the time, they're not even the same exact. He'll be like, these are right, but it's like they're close to right, but they're not the same. Like, what? Just because there's a dip here and a dip here. I mean, if you get real close into them, I mean, they'll put them on top of each other, and half the time they don't line up, or there's like a big discrepancy, and it's like, dude, when you're looking at a 3-month period and there's a discrepancy in these certain areas, a 3-month period, that's a long fucking time in those discrepancies. You're talking about weeks of having different calculations and shit, so it's like, I don't know, man. I just fucking report on the corruption. I don't really like to make price predictions for that reason, to be honest with you. I'll be back in 1 second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. We're at 46.22. We're moving back up 46.37. Like I said, those institutions are probably done selling now, so we're all buying again. If they don't short us, we could move back up. But like I said, I don't know how they have these 2 million and they haven't used them yet. So obviously saving them for something. Could be power hour. Let's check out the dark pools. Dark pool numbers are slowly moving down. Odd lots went up again, so we're buying. A couple people probably went to an exchange, which is good. What the fuck is that? It's a hard dip. We're at 46.40, 43. We're at 46.65, moving up pretty good. We're at 66.6% dark pool volume, which that's the devil. So be ready. Back to the Motley Fool. At 46.55. Check the flow quick on options. See, I mean, look at this screen right now. If you guys can't see this, I'm gonna zoom in. But every one of these calls is a weekly call. Instead, I mean, you don't have to buy them so fast or so close out. 50. I mean, this is a $51 call this week. I mean, ones. which we could still hit, but like I said, I mean, every single time we get close, they seem to kill us on options, so. Sorry about that spam there. They still haven't used any of those shorts. $46.55. Let's see here. Let's get back to fucking motley trash. There we go. Performance-based fees in general create an incentive for an advisor or its supervised persons to make investments that are riskier and more speculative than would be in the case of an absence of a performance-based fee. So, I'm going to go ahead and ask him about that one. Such fee arrangements also create an incentive to favor high fame pain. Oh, really? Just kind of curious about that one there, Motley Fool. To address conflict of interest with respect to any future clients, to ensure that all clients receive fair and equal respect. Let's check this out. Pro strategy. AMC's just chilling at 46.53. Not really much else going on. Back to alright. Appreciate price seek to hedge exposure. This starts off. Pro strategy includes at least a 4 each. Okay, so let's check these approaches out. I mean, it's just hilarious how you read this, and it's like it just literally sets out their hedge funds need fucking everything. They get paid off certain commissions to sell certain securities, which how is that not fucking illegal? Jesus Christ. They also sell options. So if they're selling, so they sell options. You can sell options and then influence the price of that fucking stock because you're fucking telling people what to do with it on top of selling them the options. So they might do it on their own stuff. Conflict of interest again. Is I'm gonna get Motley Fool on like 20,000 counts of fucking conflict of interest, dude. That dude's a dumbass. He literally called the wrong person a fucking pump and dump person. Fucking piece of trash, dude. Alright, 46, 47. I mean, these dark pool numbers are just, I mean, they're fucking insane. They just keep going up. Let's go flow. Let's see more people buying weekly calls. There's another weekly call. Weekly call. So I mean, look, we got $65 weekly calls. Granted, they're small, but like I said, every one of these little things, you guys, it adds up, it adds up, it adds up. If you want to take those market makers down, you gotta take money, not give it to them. Loyalty, $65 calls for next week. It's like, you'll buy 50 of these things at 65 a piece, but just buy one, like I said, and then you risk all that, and then by the end of the week, it's gone. And then you could, like I said, you could have just bought one farther out. Like I said, guys, just be smart with them. Give yourself time. There's no reason to be in such a rush on them. You guys can see, yeah, every week could be the MOAS week, but we've been saying that for 7 months. It's time to learn from our mistakes and grow from them. AMC's at 46.50. Ash has in Discord. I can jump in his Discord with him, but he always screams, so I don't want to. Last time I did that, a lot of people that were listening didn't want to listen to him scream, so I'm not going to go in there right now, Diamond. Sorry, buddy. Still 2 million short, so they haven't used any of them. I just love how the cost to borrow. Like, that was the one thing that I wasn't correct about, is this cost to borrow rate fee seems to not move, but I think that's just the institutions. I think they're just helping them out hard now at this point. It's just stupid. Fucking BlackRock. Answer people in a second here. Now, like I was saying too, if we go back down, I still think we're gonna end up around 46.15 to 45 something. Zach Morris doesn't believe in the MOAS because he doesn't believe people are going to be able to take down the market makers. Like I was saying, he thinks we're just going to probably get a short squeeze because people aren't listening, man. Like I said, going to a lit exchange is way more important than any of these other YouTubers following the graph all day, all that stuff. Everybody's focusing on the wrong things. They focus on being entertained all day long instead of making money. It's like we're in the stock market play. This is all about making money. So why are we wasting time with all this other stuff? It's just entertainment at that point. But if you really want a MOAS, not a short squeeze, you gotta, like I said, you gotta do certain things to get those. Then billionaires, multi-billionaires aren't just gonna hand us multi-billions of dollars just because we got them in a play. Like I said, you gotta get them in a play, and then you gotta get them to cover. If they're not gonna have to cover, you're never gonna get those synthetics. Well, I love a lot of the YouTubers, but like I said, at this point, I've told them the answer. All they ever do is talk about the problem. They never tell you guys the solution. And then anytime I show them the solution or tell them to talk about the solution, suddenly the conversation gets real fucking quiet. It's like I said, you guys, the problem is a lot of people follow the wrong people, and they're more worried about somebody screaming. It's going to rip every fucking day. They want to be lied to. They want to be coddled. They want to be told that everything's going to be okay instead of just being like, all right, you guys, this is a stock market. It's an ugly-ass place. This shit is corrupt as fuck. If you keep playing into their game of going over the counter, you're going to get the same results. Yes, we'll get a squeeze. Like I said, I still 1,000,000,000% believe AMC will squeeze one day. But we literally determine how high it goes. If we keep doing this little, all right, everybody watch, everybody on YouTube, pay them billions of dollars instead of buying shares with them and actually moving towards. I mean, like I said, you guys can do whatever you want. It's your money. Do what you want. But this is just how reality is, guys. Like, if we don't start working towards a goal, or people don't start, and I'm not going to say we, because that's market manipulation and none of this is financial advice, but if retail keeps doing the same pattern, guess what? It's going to look like the same algorithm because, again, we're doing the same process. And so are they. It's just the same shit happening every day. The only difference is how much we buy that day, how much we can afford, and how many shorts they have available. So it's like, that's it. It's really, that's all there is to it. I mean, these guys didn't come up with put $1 billion into an algorithm to make it repeat itself. That's a basic algorithm. You want a repeating algorithm? I can draw one up. I can make one up. I can code one for you. It's not that crazy. Like I said, these things are billion-dollar algorithms. They're made to react on the market at the time on what is happening and how we are building it. They front-run it. They get data sent to that market or to that algorithm, data sent to it before a trade goes through, before public data feed happens. So, like I said, you want to win, you got to make these certain changes. It's that simple. We're going to be in this shit for a long, long time. And more hedge funds are going to keep jumping on and keep, like I said, those short interest might keep going up. But if more and more keep jumping in, short interest keeps going up, and these guys aren't losing money, we're not really gaining anything. We're loading a spring, but that spring needs to still go up. It's still got to be sprung before we make our money. And I'm just being real with you guys. I'm not saying Astro's theory's bullshit. I have no idea. I could be wrong. Any one of us could be wrong. But I'm just saying, why would they make $1 billion algorithm to have it repeat itself? I can go build one of those for, like I said, I can code that. Just being honest, dude. I'm just sick of everybody watching people every single day that lied to you guys. Oh, it's ripping today. And then it goes up 10 cents and they scream rip. And then it goes back down 10 cents later. And the second they screamed rip, everybody's, oh shit, it's the time. We got to go get options. No, you don't. That's what's killing us. I said it's ridiculous. It's the people that are showing DD, and I don't even care. Like I said, I don't even care if I get followed. I don't even care about any of that stuff. As you see, I don't have affiliation links. I don't care about making a ton of money off this stuff. I care about getting the squeeze, then I'll make my money. But until then, it's like, dude, I'm just here to show you guys, and there's a lot of people out there that do DD that just don't even get attention, that they're showing shit that actually matters compared to a lot of these people that get all the attention. What are they doing? Oh, come show Ortex data. Cool, okay, because none of you guys can buy Ortex, or you guys can't get a group of 10 people and put $4 on the side and go get Ortex with each other and do a Discord group Ortex. I mean, there's so much shit you guys can do. It's 90% of the questions people are asking is a simple Google search, or it's been talked about, or it's on Reddit. I mean, you can find every answer. You don't have to pay people for these answers. I mean, like I said, I love Astro. I'm not going to bash Astro. I'm not even talking about him specifically. I'm talking about all of them. They all do it. They've been doing it forever. How many of them even give a shit anymore if it moasses? They've made so much fucking money it doesn't even matter. And yeah, they're going to probably hate me for this, and I don't even care. Like I said, dude, I'm done helping everybody out for these fucking guys so they can make a little bit more when they've already made a fucking killing. Let's get to this moas. Let's show people the answers. Stop telling them the fucking same problems we've been telling them for 7 months. You guys know what the problem is. I've told you the problem. We've showed you the problem. There's the problems. Dave, I mean, you guys, what has Matt Coors or any of these other YouTubers done that Dave Lauer's come on and goes, yep, he's right, because I can show you about 50,000 of my things that he does it. Who else does Gary Gensler? How many of Matt Coors' fucking DDs Gary Gensler gone on and said, yep, this is what's going on? I mean, you guys, literally people that are in this business in every shape or form are telling you exactly what I'm telling you. Why? Because I fucking work with them. I mean, like I said, if you guys, people want, if I wanted to get super popular and cool, I could just say, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna throw on some fucking affiliation links, start getting paid with that, everybody, and then I'll just say every day, it's ripping. It's gonna rip next week. Look it's gotta rip. And I could have 1,000 followers every day, or I could just be honest with you guys, so we can finally get to the fucking finish line. I mean, let's get past this shit. It's been 7 fucking months, dude. 8 months, and we've been sitting here doing the same shit since February. What's different? Nothing. The only thing that's everybody still follows Matt. Everybody still follows the same fucking people. They still give you guys the same fucking shit. If you watch Matt's fucking, not even just Matt. I'm not even gonna say Matt anymore. All of them. If you watch a YouTube guy from Monday and you watch it on fucking Friday, what's the difference in their YouTube? Nothing. Just the difference. Maybe 1 or 2 different things happened throughout the week. Well, guess what? You already heard about them on Twitter and shit anyways. You already know it. So guys, this is a stock market. We're in this to make fucking money, not make fucking people in the community money. And then those fucking people in the community are sitting there, oh, let's get some fucking options played. Options. Everyone, options are so good. Let's do options training. Or, let's look at fucking past squeezes and realize how they won. They bought all the damn shares. Volkswagen, Porsche bought all the shares up. Guess what? Then they won. And yeah, Matt is a millionaire. So if it squeezes, does he give a fuck? No. Probably. He probably has shares. Of course he's got shares. But he probably has 1,000 other fucking plays. He sits there and does video games and opens packs of cards, and people pay him to watch him open packs of cards. Like I said, y'all do what you want with your money. That's why we're here. We're all here to make money, to have financial freedom, to do what we want with our money. So do what you want with your money. But I'm just telling you, if you want a MOAS, you actually have to do some things, guys, to get a MOAS, or you're going to get a short squeeze, period. And a short squeeze, I'm going to be honest with you. If we're just short squeezing hedge funds, will it get to 5, 10K? Probably not. Maybe. It could. You never know what a squeeze could get to. You never know. It's what they have to pay to cover to get out of it. But, like I said, you got to also look at the structure of how a short squeeze works and how you get to those big numbers. And you get to those big numbers by killing off the big boys, not getting rid of the little guys. Because you get rid of just the little guys, you're getting like 300, 400, 500 a share, period. 600, maybe 1,000. And that's a lot of fucking money. And a lot of you are going to make a shit ton of money on that. A shit ton of money on that. And it could go higher. Like I said, it could go up, it could go down. I don't know. But all I know is this. Anytime in life, if you're doing something and you're repeating the process over and over and it's not working, if you don't evolve, you get lost in the shuffle, guys. You end up holding the fucking bag, so. What about Lou? What is Lou saying? Lou is, I don't really watch Lou. I'm not going to lie. I haven't watched Lou in a long time. I'm not going to sit here and just bash YouTubers on this entire thing. Lou knows a lot of stuff because he used to work in the market, but he's also outdated on a lot of his information, but he also knows a shit ton. So, everyone brings something to the table. Like I said, I'm not here bashing YouTubers all day. They all bring something. Without Matt, coddling all the little guys, guess what? They would probably have all sold by now. So everybody technically brings something to the table. Everybody makes people stay in this community. But I'm just saying, you guys, stop staring at the problem and start looking at the solution. At this point, how much time has to go by before we sit there and all talk about solutions instead of the problem? Like I said, I sit there, I show everybody, all right, dark pools are fucking killing us. They're making money in dark pools. And what's the first thing everybody says? Oh, we got to ban dark pools. No, you just need to not go to just go to lit exchange, and guess what? Dark pools are no longer a problem. You need dark pools. Guess what? If we don't have dark pools, institutions aren't going to buy until they get turned back on. Period. They're not going to buy any stocks. If you turn dark pools off, you're going to see stocks just collapse. They're not going to sit there and take that risk. Oh yeah, I mean I like. Sorry, I was smoking quick, guys. I mean I like I said, I like all the YouTubers. They all bring something. They all do have information, and I mean they give me stuff to look at. Whether they're right or wrong, who knows? What I could be wrong on a lot of this shit too. Doesn't mean I'm right. But when I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it. You know that. Just jumping all over the place. Super volatile day. Still not using any of those shares. So what they could do is what they did on Tuesday is save all these shares. They'll let it run up again today, maybe, and then do the same strategy they did on Monday or Tuesday, where they save all the shares or shorts for today, save all of them for tomorrow, and then they crash it back down hard again. But like I said, guys, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's still low in the spring. We just got to get them to fucking cover. Said we just got to make it too expensive. It's the only way. It's literally the only way. I'm going to be getting off here in about 15-20 minutes, guys, just so y'all know. I got to go do some grocery shopping, but I'll definitely keep doing it until then. But we get back to finding out more about this Motley Fool fucking trash. Get that fucker behind some bars here quick. I mean, how are you going to call us scum and then say retail is the little guy when you're fucking stealing from retail? That's your only job is to... I mean, we literally just looked at their fucking payment. They get paid from... It literally says in here that they're getting paid by commission to sell certain securities. And on those securities, they can actually purchase and sell options on those exact securities. So you could tell us what securities to buy, when to buy them, when to sell them, and then you can open and play options on them. But that's not conflict of interest. I mean, that's literally the definition of it. So if this wasn't enough to show them those Gear Bear, then I'm gonna have some real questions about the SEC at this point. Because what more can you fucking? I mean, that's literally textbook, word for word, fucking conflict of interest. But yet they're staring at our shit all day long. Seeing if we're gonna complain, it's just funny. 46. We're at 46.79. They still haven't used those shorts up. And I think we might have a green day because usually at lunchtime I feel like it's a pretty big indication on how the rest of the day is going to go. It usually goes down a little bit, but the fact that we're staying up during lunchtime and actually moving up is a pretty damn good sign. So I think what they might do is let it run back up and then do the same bullshit. They're going to short the fuck out of it tomorrow with the shorts they have from tomorrow today and tomorrow. If you keep going live, you'll get your word out. I mean, I'm trying to get in a conversation with Trey. I've never talked to Trey in my entire life, so I mean, he's out doing his thing, man. I don't really worry about him not set bread in it, but it would be sweet, obviously, if he could start to. But Astro, man, I'll talk to him one of these days. I'll get him back on track here. I love the dude. But maybe he'll show me his fractal theory. I'll be wrong, and he can tell me where I'm wrong at. Never know. Maybe in one day I'll be preaching it. I don't know. Like I said, man, anyone could be wrong. I don't know. All I know is what the fucking documents tell me. I have no idea how many shares need to be purchased. Like I said, man, it all depends on how much they can afford. I mean, obviously we saw it go to 77, and they didn't cover. So why everybody's expecting them to cover before then? I don't know why they would have to now. They obviously could afford it before. The fractal theory doesn't change anything. I mean, even if it's right, the fractal theory means he thinks he can predict price, but when you've been wrong all the time, how the hell are you telling me you're predicting the price? You're not predicting the price anymore. It's no better than doing TA. I mean, think how many people sit here and do TA on AMC, and how many times are they right? Yeah, they're right. Yeah, TA works, but the second they want TA to no longer work, they just manipulate it, and then all of a sudden, next thing you notice, you're wrong. So it's like I said, it's that easy to be wrong on shit. That's why I don't like to predict shit. That's why all I do is try and expose the shit they're doing in the back end. Cause if I'm wrong about that, I just need to find some more documents, and then I can either prove myself right or prove how I was wrong. You can't do that when you're doing predictions. So, very, very, very dangerous thing. And that's another thing people got to stop doing is worrying about everyone's predictions so bad. It's just a prediction, man. I can predict it's going to rain tomorrow. Doesn't mean it's going to rain tomorrow. Doesn't mean you should go place money on somebody else's prediction. What do they know? Like, do you guys honestly think any of these YouTubers, me, like, we know as much as you guys know on when the date's going to happen, man. Nobody can honestly know that. Like, no one can know. I don't think we'll be lucky to get a squeeze. We'll still get a squeeze. I'm not saying we're not going to short squeeze. We'll get a short squeeze. But I thought the whole purpose of this entire movement was to get a MOAS. And like I said, man, that's way different. Way different. But, like I said, I'm not trying to sit here and bash everybody. It seems like every time fucking a new YouTuber goes up, they're bashing everyone else. And it's like, well, I feel like I'm doing that. But it's just the honest truth, man. Like, it's just the honest truth at this point. Like, we need to evolve. We just need to evolve. How big of a short squeeze? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. It all depends on how high we can run the price up and how many of those hedge funds have to cover, what size hedge funds have to cover, or if you can kill those market makers. If you kill those market makers, every single person in this entire channel will be 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000. To me, that's nothing. If you get them to cover those synthetics, that's nothing. But it's all about if you get them to cover those synthetics. A realistic time frame for what? A short squeeze? I don't know. I think with the cat system and everything, like I said, I still think you could get a short squeeze within September or November. My stance on a short squeeze hasn't changed. Got a stinky butt puppy? What you doing? The only thing that will force him to buy those synthetic shares is the killing off the market makers, because the market makers are the ones writing them. If you don't kill the market makers, they're not gonna, like I said, they're just gonna wait to cover those synthetics later on after the MOAS and after the price has went back down. Why wouldn't they? Basically, I mean, the only way to get those market makers to cover those synthetics is you're going to have to basically margin them. And the only way to do that is, like I said, you got to take all those orders out of the OTC market, because that's how they make all their money. And if they're not making money every day on the market, they can't show that they can have all that collateral and keep affording these stocks, so they'll have to eventually get liquidated here. But like I said, if we just take out the hedge funds, you're severely limiting our number on what we can get to. China, yeah, I mean, I've been following that quite a bit. I feel like we're right there next to them, man. I mean, look at all of our treasury bonds and all that stuff. We're right there, and everything else that they have all those C++ bonds now that aren't worth shit. And if you look at half of the United States, that's what we're running off. It's ridiculous. Citadel, yeah. Citadel, Virtue, all those people, man. They all, market makers have the right to create those synthetics. And then on top of that, anytime somebody creates a short, it creates a synthetics. And what they do is they just let those synthetics go. They let them create FTDs. And they basically are hiding those FTDs And I don't know really how they're hiding them yet. We're still trying to find that out, but or where. Obviously, if we could find that, we'd be feeling good. What do you do? You just upset. Settle yourself down. Sorry, my dog is going nuts. Somebody walked in the house. My bag is. Yeah, and that's the thing. Market makers are making money on every other stock in the market, every single trade. Every time they get a trade goes through them, they obviously take a little bit off the top, so they're making money off that. Their entire purpose is to give liquidity to the entire market, so they're able to basically, like I said, they have priority on every single thing, these bona fide market makers. And like I said, everybody should sit there and stare at this graph, and if you've seen it forever, not this one, same thing, the edited version of that, but like, pass that around, guys, because like I said, it's all about getting it out of the over-the-counter market. Because if you do that and you go to an exchange, they're not making that money. They're gonna still provide liquidity to the New York Stock Exchange and everything like that. But at that point, it's already set price, so they can't sit there and skim a little off the top. They can't do front running like that because it's public data. They can't do a whole bunch of different manipulations. It's literally, like I said, it's that key, that answer everybody's been looking for. How do we beat them? Just go to Lit Exchange. It's literally that easy. I mean, it's literally that easy. Don't believe me? Believe Gary Gensler. If you don't believe Gary Gensler, believe Dave Lauer. If you don't believe him, believe the news, believe the media, believe Congress, because Congress even talks about it. Like I said, I don't know who else I would need people to say, yeah, this is the way. I mean, Trades and Matt Coors should not have as much power as Congress, Gary Gensler, the news, and everyone else. I mean, come on, y'all. We can't just sit there and always expect the government to step in and help us. When has that ever happened? If you guys, I'm telling you right now, if you get the government to step in and get involved in the short squeeze, it will be a controlled short squeeze 100%, and those prices you guys want to see will be impossible to get to. Lit Exchange is basically just any exchange that goes to the public data feed. I mean, a lot of people use like the New York Stock Exchange. You can go straight to the NASDAQ. You can use ARCA. Those are probably the most common ones used. Matt knows about the exchanges. Matt has an affiliation to worry about. I'm trying to get a hold of Trey. I might be able to get a hold of him later tonight. I'm talking to somebody that has his number, so I'm trying to see if I can't get a hold of him. Sorry. Nah, it's the TV. Triple H is out here pedigreeing people left and right, so they gotta play that good music. Fucking. Hi, Wyatt. Why don't you come back in Discord and be friends with me? What? Training. We're at 47:12. If you guys can't look at your screen, if you care. But like I said, it shouldn't even matter. It's all white noise anyways, guys. Till we get our price, it doesn't matter. Looks like they actually used a small amount of those shorts.
It's hard to be humble when you're this good. It's damn good. Hey, get some money. And quite frankly, I'm not
Get
just
it, man.
good. I am the best. And I prove it
We need this to just
again
plummet.
and again and again. And last night was no different. You see, you can name anyone in this industry, anyone today, and I've beat them all.
See how many more people are buying some weekly calls here. $65 weekly strike.
Kane, Kurt Angle, hell, I've even beaten phenoms like The Undertaker.
$65 call for the end of the week. $65 call for the end of the week. Do you guys start to see what I'm talking about here?
And I've even beaten The Rock.
7,000 that could have been in stocks.
That's right, Hollywood.
21,000 that could have been in shares. 14,000 could have been in shares. More shares. More shares.
And the fact is, hell, now that I think about it, I even retired the hardcore legend Mick Foley.
I mean, look at all those. For fuck's sake.
The fact is, you can line them all up, and I will beat them all. Because I am exactly what I say I am, and that is the best. Because I am.
No whales are jumping in.
And whether anybody likes it or doesn't like it, I am that
Hell is
damn
ILMN.
good.
Wired, if you're listening, check out ILMN and let me know what's going on. What's your thoughts? It's a lot of dark pool action. Really big dark pool action. We're at 43.07. I'm sorry, 47.03. Said that wrong. Yeah, my wife watches WWE. She loves it. Hi, friend.
What's up, man? Can you hear me, Biggums?
Yes, sir. I was still in your
What?
I was still on your
Look
live.
at?
What'd you say?
What'd you want me to look at?
Oh, that. Better go back to the big whales. Oh, it's dark pool. It's dark pool. Look at. Fuck is it?
You think because you walk down that ramp and you get in this ring that you deserve a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship?
ILMN.
Why the hell should you get a shot? Because you're Scott Steiner? Because you Big Papa Pump? I know when
75 days out, it looks it has a bearish look to it. I think it still might go down, but I you know, that's just looking at the charts.
No,
there
I
could
think
be
it would.
more
I
to
think
the
it's gonna go
story.
down real hard.
Yeah, it's bearish. I'm looking at the 2-day, and then it's looking bullish on the 2-day, and then for today it's looking bullish. So it's probably going to go up. It's probably going to go up, you know, today and tomorrow. Probably not even much. It'll probably only go up to like it's sitting at $450.60. I'm looking at, you know, $451 going up tomorrow, and then just probably keep dipping back down after that.
Ooh.
I mean,
Yeah, nothing
I
to worry
foresee it.
about.
I foresee it could dip down to $433. You know, that like actually it might float down to consolidation area of like 441. So it's going to drop by $10 by the end of the week, I think. But you know, I'm just an idiot. Like, I just started getting into trading this year, but I mean, I consider myself a jack of all trades. I have this like obsession of getting into something and like learning it to like a high level, and then getting bored of it and then just moving on. So I have this toolbox of everything.
Yeah. That's what's up. We're at 47.41. Went up a little bit.
I'll even take a look at the option side. For this week, it's stacked up at the 520 mark, pretty high. But and then the puts are stacked up at 500. That sounds about fair.
Dude, I found so much more shit on Motley Fool. It's funny.
Yeah, like they have ties with Facebook, like deeply.
Oh yeah. On top of that, they
Facebook's evil.
literally get they have an incentivized program where they like get paid more to shell out certain fucking stocks, and then in those stocks they're actually able to open call options and puts and shit like that and sell and write them up and sell them. So it's like
you ever wonder what happened to Tom? You know, Tom from MySpace. You ever you know what happened?
No.
Fucking Zuck took Tom out to the forest and just beat and raped him, right? And just buried him out in the forest. Like that's what happened to it. Like Zuck's not a good guy.
Who was Tom?
Or Tom. Like everybody was friends with Tom, and then he just disappears off the face of the earth. Tell me that wasn't a conspiracy. Tell me that wasn't.
Wasn't he Tom? If I remember right. I don't remember MySpace.
That's like a deep Inception thing. Like secretly, Mark Zuckerberg is Tom from MySpace.
Yeah. Back in a second. Institutions also.
You don't come up and just eat my shit.
Nah, yeah, we weren't really talking. I was just kind of reading more shit. Is AMCBIGGUMS presenting? What do you mean? What's the cost to borrow at 300? If the price was at 300? Alright, 47.43. I mean, yes, he said he was taking off. When was the cost to borrow at 300 on my screens? I had the cost to borrow on one of these screens at 300. None of you guys can hear me talking right now? Wired, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What the fuck? They're saying everyone's saying they can hear me in chat. Oh, some people are saying they can. On your Twitter comment, I think.
It's one dude that accidentally muted his phone.
Oh, you're talking about this thing? What do you see cost to borrow 300? Marcus, were you talking about this screen?
And I'm gonna kick your ass.
I think there's a minute or two. I'm not sure. I think my shit's just lagging really badly right now. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know why you guys can hear me. Sorry about that. We're at 43:51, 56, or 47. Sorry, 47:59. Yeah, I like Keith. Keith's super smart. They're doing the same shit, Wired. I think they're gonna fucking short the hell out of us tomorrow. They're just leaving them
Well,
all.
see, that's the thing that people need to understand. It's like these market makers aren't necessarily the ones shorting. Yes, they are playing games in shorting. Like, so the hedge funds portion, the wholesalers, they may be acting in, the acts of shorting it and making some manipulations and having, third party short or you're persuading them to, on promise that they can get some sort of return of some sort, either through AMC or through another venture or stock. They can have grant a hedge fund so much inside information on another stock to where they make enough money that they would take a hit somewhere else to do that. But the market makers, where we're seeing price being manipulated the most and dropped, is by just selling the share itself.
Yeah.
And when I say that is, whenever you buy on payment to order flow, more than 9 times, like 9.99999 times out of 10, that buy is suppressed. Yeah, like it's not like the price is going to just barely go up. It's the price goes down. Because what happens if they create a failure to deliver with that suppressed share, the price will go down, because you're increasing that supply and you're suppressing the demand on a buy. So the price, so people buying inherently brings the price down because they're using payment to order flow or OTC. It's because they're not ordering direct to the lit exchange, right? Eventually people will understand. Like, people like, I've been saying this since, oh man, dude, like early May, maybe even before that. That's when I started like putting my theory on paper. Like, when we did our DD on payment to order flow and all that, I had another paper before that, that I had, and then you and we filled in gaps. Like, we completed the puzzle together, right? Like,
Yeah.
I had this assumption and some sort of like basic data, and that's all I had. And then when we got together, I think when we first met, you're like, yeah, I was talking about payment to order flow like a long time ago, and then so I was like, yeah, and then I was like, yeah, let's get into this work together. But you were involved in the other work, and then that ended up going downhill. And then we got into payment to order flow, and then we did our paper, right?
Yeah.
And we spent I don't know, like a week or two together, on top of the previous like week or two of work before that.
Yeah.
And then we put it out, and then people didn't really believe us. And then, even like people like Dave Lauer, he supported us, definitely. He gave us a lot of information, but he didn't have an understanding of certain sides of the market, which would be from that wholesaler to the market maker side, right? Like, he like he probably has the best knowledge of the market out of anybody in our toolbox of friends, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, for sure.
and he knows more than we do by far, and that's why we hold him to a very high pedestal.
Yeah.
But like, because we're on grounds of literally like tinfoil hat theory, you know what I mean? And if it weren't for the SEC coming through and saying, "Hey, this is what's happening," it would always be tinfoil hat theory, like, for the most part. And I honestly feel that the SEC has known about these things for a very, very long time, and people are like, well, why don't you act on it? Why haven't they acted on it? Well, if you take a look at the perspective of the SEC, if they came through, like, just let's say 2 years ago, they came through when there was a market for payment order flow, and when I feel they actually found out about this 2 years ago, when there was a market for payment order flow, and they said, hey, we're banning payment order flows. If they came through with nothing to like, no retail argument against it at a mass level, they would be sued, because all these people that get paid for liquidity through payment to order flow and everything that supported it would attack the SEC, and they would be sued. But because they just up and out of nowhere said, hey, this is bad, when it was not really doing anything to hurt anybody, on the surface level. But now that AMC and GME things going on, and people are speaking up about these things, like, I feel the moment we find something in corruption, like some we discover some sort of level of corruption, and we start speaking out against it, there's a level of risk tolerance that they accept, that where they can start saying, this is happening to the world, and we're going to start pushing against it. That's how I feel, the government systems and people are integrated, and why people are always like, why don't they take care of these things, before, when they knew about it, is because sometimes there's liabilities and risks associated with it. So they need, same with the, like, Adam Aaron, right? The CEO, he would have probably never gotten into crypto if people didn't ask and push and talk about it. And that's why I feel we really need to communicate. If we believe that a crypto dividend, even through experimentation, because, like, remember, they can create a crypto dividend for a penny just to test it out, just to get the structure built. Like, it's not going to cost the company anything. The on the sheets, it's going to say, basically, we're gonna take this small amount of money, and because look, what is a penny? What is 500 million pennies, right? That's nothing to this company. So in a crypto testing phase, to create this dividend that they'll use in the future to pay out, they create the MOAS, right, at no cost. It's justifiable on their sheets. But they can't just sit there and do it because of the intention of, oh, if we do this, we're going to make the MOAS happen. A company can't do that. They would be sued.
That's manipulation.
So we as retail traders are the voice for AMC overall, and that's why we need to get on certain topics and band together and push to ask for it. And that's why I feel we as a community should start talking, support GME and AMC on their crypto dividends. Remember, it's not necessarily a dividend they have to pay out. They just have to have company interest, right? If retail traders and the people out in the world and the investors all come together and want a crypto, dividend, not for now, but like 5 years down the road when we're making money as a company. But now it's the time to invest in it, right? And to research it and test it and create it. So as retail traders, we come together and we ask for it because it's something we're interested in. It no longer becomes market manipulation. This becomes interest, because honestly, I'm interested in a crypto dividend and to see what it can do for companies, right? And then that even opens it up to NFTs. So you can have NFTs and trust me, I'm not huge on cryptos and NFTs. I think there's a lot of security risks and national security risks with crypto and NFTs currently. They are great, and they'll grow to something amazing, and they're good for technology, but we need transparency and regulation. But anyways, carrying forward. So I feel that with these NFTs, we can take it into like the AMC app, right? Like our app that we use, and let's just say you're a member of the AMC, I forgot the Premier Club or whatever, and for every year you're part of it, you gain like your avatar on the app that eventually, I hope, becomes a social media hub, right? Kind of like Rotten Tomatoes type thing. Because AMC is like a large holder in the world. I want them to be like this Rotten Tomatoes type hub where people can share their opinions on movies and movies to come, and this is market data that these movie people could use as well. Like AMC can prosper off of it. But then now you create this social media platform, and your friends, you're going to this movie, you can invite them, or like remember, you can get free tickets, not necessarily free tickets, but when you do this premiere thing, you get a bunch of extra tickets. You can't always go to the theater, but a benefit is like if you have this social media platform, you can share those tickets you don't use, right? Then now we keep our value and we don't lose it. Like I think that's the biggest thing with subscription service is if you don't use it and you look back and you see lost value, then you end your subscription service. But if AMC made it where it's transferable, where you can give tickets out or even give tickets out to a charity of some sort, and so that way people don't have this feeling of loss of value. But now you have this avatar and you can embed NFTs into it to your avatar. So like if you're their premier member, for this year, you get this type of accessory or border around your thing. It's just a kind of a collectible thing to say, I was here at this point in time, I did this at this level. Bragging rights in this social media platform, like I said, like Rotten Tomatoes, where you can express not only just with your friends but the world on actors, on movies, on music even. It can expand from there. So I'm done ranting, guys. But I just
People
feel
are liking it, dude. Keep going.
there's a lot of big change, guys, and if you feel like you're not the voice, you are the voice. The company cannot move without your sentiment and interest, right? Not just on making sense of it and making money from it, but just for legality reasons. They can't just do something, without the people that use and invest in the company asking for it. And you're in a unique situation now that 90% of the company, if not 100% of the company, is owned by retail. And I say that because all of the synthetics out there, right? There could be 10 times a float in failure to delivers. We don't know yet. I feel we're going to find out soon, because I feel Gare Bear is on top of this right now. We tackled payment to order flow, but now we're getting into conversation about OTC market. I did stress that people like Fidelity, they self clear and everything still goes in the OTC market. It's not just necessarily payment to order flow. Um, it Payment to order flow is just kind of a river of liquidity. The OTC market is the new second dark market, and if anything goes there, you don't know what happens, and you no longer pretty much own the sentiment of either. But yeah, he's on. So you hear the conversation about this OTC market more from Gary Gensler. I'm starting to hear more about market makers as well, just kind of slight hints. So the things we talk about is the things that are going to be investigated in. So people doing DD and verifying it as well, because a lot of times we're wrong, right? Like a lot of times we're wrong, and it comes from the community to say, hey, wait, whoa, no, I found this, and then so we look into it,
Yeah.
and we finally get a strong answer. And when we get a strong answer and it has supporting documentation and information, this is like handing the baton in the marathon to the SEC from there, because now we have, as retail traders, have a solid platform with solid facts and statistics to hand the baton to the SEC to take over. So it's about finding information, inherently trusting it, but not fully trusting it, verifying it. Once you verify it, you duplicate it. Let it grow exponentially. So yes, we are going to rip per se. I do think the shorts. I see the shorts as legitimate shorting actors, right? There's retail shorters, there's industry whale shorters, and let's throw in these hedge funds that are probably even being manipulated to short, or they're paid off to be short. But overall, that's the shorting pool. The big shorters that are doing everything legal, everything they're doing is 100% legal. The big shorters we're talking about are the market makers and the wholesalers. Uh, I I don't know if you guys know, they're not profiting on necessarily shorting, right? It's not like they're gonna short it and then buy it back at a lower price, and that that difference is where they're gonna make their money. No, as market makers, they're providing liquidity. So in essence, yes, they're shorting because they're selling you a security and on the hopes of buying it back at a lesser price. It's not necessarily even that. It's just they're selling you a security on the hopes of buying it back. They don't necessarily care about what price it is. They profit off of the transaction. It's like a credit card transaction, right? The credit card companies profit off the transaction. So the more transactions that go on, the more money they make. So them necessarily shorting, it's not the same thing. Um, and so what they are doing though, in order to suppress the price in the way they want. So if they, the way I see it is like there's these market makers and wholesalers out there that find opportunities to short, but they don't short it in a traditional way where people say, yeah, oh, they're going to dump shorts on the market, the price dips down, and they're going to keep doing this until until they go into pink sheets, OTC stocks, or they dissolve. That's not it. They're doing what I coin as parasitic liquidity, right? So they're providing liquidity, but they're preventing this company or the security from growing. Because if all the retail orders come in, they use payment to order flow, or orders go through, like I think Gary Gensler said 97% of orders are going in and they hit this OTC market. And as soon as it hits that OTC market, if they deem this company to go down, to be wiped off the planet, basically goes to the dark pool to have the orders fulfilled, which basically suppresses the price. But also in this method is they generate failure to delivers. And so by generating these failure to delivers, on top of that, they're increasing the supply, suppressing the demand, and every purchase that happens drives the price down. So they don't have to short it. They just have to have people come in and out, right? And the more people, the more the cycles through, the price goes down, 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 down. Yes, we have our natural, fluctuations of, more people buying, or they're buying in the dark pool themselves, or they're buying to, directly to exchange or the lit market, or they're trying, because they can't just make it natural no matter what. They have to make the price flow look natural. And this is where, Astro comes in, the algorithmic trading. Yes, they're kind of going on cycles and everything else like that. But the way I like to compare it is he's predicting the weather. He's saying it's going to rain or the sun's going to come out, but he can't sit there and say what day and what time, right? It's there are cycles, right? Like there's winter and summer and fall and in spring. There are cycles, but we can't necessarily pinpoint predict it, right? We need other metrics. We need other things. We need a
Yeah, but
toolbox of things to predict things, right?
but still, if you can just say it's going to go up and down but not win, that's not really helpful. I mean, that normal TA can do that, basically.
Right. Well, yeah, yes and no, right? Like I think normal TA can tell you an overall, like, oh, we're flipping to a bear or a bull cycle. But the way, like, here's the thing is with like AMC and GME, manipulation's at 100%, right? The factory is running at full force, so things are a lot more visible. So with them, it's not just necessarily like the bearish bullish phase. With them now, they can pinpoint it down to more of a, I would say monthly, weekly sentiment. Nothing that they can't predict the MOAS, right? They can't do that. They can't predict a short squeeze. They can only predict general sentiment, right? That's all they can do, based off of historical information. To be honest with you, the more accurate, and I've said this, like they don't fully understand. I feel they don't fully understand it yet. The more accurate metric that you need to go off of is the supply and demand, historical supply and demand, the volume. That's why I use volume profile. I can see this historical supply and demand, and I can know where there's gaps that need to be filled, because the market wants this. They want this natural stability underneath it to prevent it from crashing down, right?
Yeah.
They because if people have no sentiment or understanding of why the stock's sitting up there, it makes it more likely to be sold off and dumped. So that's why they do these natural supply and demand cycles. That's what I see, and that's not you can't even predict it from that, even at a more micro level, because there's certain events you can never predict, certain things that you can never predict. You can only get a general idea. But anyways, like to continue on about this manipulation, I'm sorry. The thing is this, like I said, it's this parasitic liquidity. So they deemed, and this is why I feel GME may have way more failure to delivers than AMC. It's not as something that happens within a year or two. This is the long con, right? This is the parasite that sits inside you. It sits in the heart of a security, and it helps provide the blood to it, but it starves it, right? So they deemed AMC and GME as companies that are going to fade out, right, in time, just through technology. If they didn't change their business model, they'll fade out. So what happens is they go into this phase of parasitic liquidity, right? The company's just bleeding it. Now, if a company turns around and changes, they can flip everything all around again. They can make it go completely the other way, but it just takes time. It's not something that happens quickly. It's something that happens the back end that takes a lot of time. But the main goal overall is, like with the parasitic liquidity, is no matter what, as long as people are buying and selling, it's gonna eventually go down to the point where it's delisted. And when you're delisted, you either dissolve, you go private, or you go to the pink sheets, right? And so
Blockbuster.
The market makers want you to dissolve. They want to be done with, hands wiped, done, dissolved. Some companies go to the pink sheets, right? And so they have to hold these failure to delivers in this penny stock, graveyard. And they have to sit on it until the company says we're done, gives up, goes bankrupt, and disappears. And then all of a sudden, all those billions of failure to delivers that were swept under the carpet disappear. They completely disappear. And so what happens is when you have people, so what does the market maker have to benefit from that? Well, they benefit from the volume, the liquidity flowing through the market on the security, and so not necessarily much beyond that. But when you have like a hedge fund or a wholesaler that's involved with it too, now you have people that can sway the market, like the media that can pump and dump it and make the liquidity go, and they just siphon it off, right? They're making money every transaction. So now they have a partnership with them to make stocks move, so they can suck the life out of it. But now the hedge funds also have they have their benefits too. So if they short it too, like if they add the shorts with it as well, or if they have stakes in it to where the company delists, they can own the company, right? They can own it. They can have they can just dissolve it, just take all the equipment.
Which they do a lot of people, so they can gain technology as well and make it so certain technologies don't even ever hit the market. That would hurt them.
Right.
So there's a lot of technologies from doing this process he's talking about where people do that and they just get rid of things that would have completely benefited mankind. Keep going.
Yeah, and there's even like the tinfoil hat theory of medical miracle cures and things. Like we can't fully know, and unless it ever it came back out, and it does cure cancer. It's easy as a pill. But I'll just say that. But I think the main focus right now is the most valuable asset in the world to this day and forever to come, and it's real estate, it's property, it's land. And if you take a look at AMC and GME, one of the main reasons why Citadel and Virtue were targeting them is for real estate. They wanted the real estate. They don't care about GME's game model. They're going to sell that off to Amazon, right? And that's where Amazon has a play. Amazon's our piggy bank. Make all your profits, dump it in Amazon. But on top of that, so now let's take a look at AMC. So Amazon went to go buy MGM, and back in January, they expressed interest in buying AMC as well, right? Amazon wanted these people because they wanted the intellectual property from these companies, for gaming and for movies. Virtue America and Citadel Securities most likely wanted the real estate.
Yeah.
And the market makers, the people that own these wholesalers, the clearing broker dealers, and these hedge funds, They're just sitting back, sucking liquidity and getting price off of every transaction, and that's all they ever cared about.
Sorry, guys.
And that's our market, guys. And that's why we need to speak up. Like, so I want you to go out there and verify my information on my Twitter or on my YouTube. You know, I do post links often. If I don't give you a source, call me out on it, and I will help you find a source, right? Because you should verify everything I say, and you should encourage everybody else to do that. So that way, once the whole world has this knowledge, they're confident in that knowledge, and they won't move or be swayed from it. Right? So it is very important. Every person here has a duty to educate themselves. Because if you don't, I don't know if you've seen that movie Idiocracy. It's funny, but I don't want to live in a world like that. But honestly, I think we're halfway there. So it's about becoming smart, staying smart, and just encouraging others to be at that same level too, right? Because if you're not, you're relying on somebody else.
Exactly, and you're
And
relying
you
on
should
an
never
uneducated person.
and trust no one.
Exactly. I mean, their money, we only all make it together. So you want them as educated as you are. They're going to sell, and you're not going to make that money you guys want. Well, at least people are finally getting calls for next week instead of just this week. We got people buying $95 calls. Like, look at that. 9K, I could have went to shares, dude.
Keep in mind these you know what's sad and what you can notice is that the derivatives market, these options have moved to a high frequency level of trading, right? They're trading these at high frequency levels. You know, manipulating on the price, taking pennies off of volatility and IV, right? The market makers are at that level, right? They're at the level of like just providing liquidity, making money from there. But then you have like industry whales and hedge funds where they're just kind of milking, you know, off of the small limits because retail traders more often enough they're going for the YOLOs, right? They're the ones providing liquidity back because they don't have the liquidity to do or the capital to do what this industry whales are doing, let alone even market makers, right? Like industry whales want to be market makers. We want to be industry whales. It all trickles up too. And then like market makers, they want to be the banks. And the banks, they want to be the Rothschilds. So I mean,
Sorry, man. Got a lot of shit going on. I was gonna leave for a little bit. I'm just trying to do it so I don't have to. We're at 47.32. If you can't look at your screen and if you care. But as always, price doesn't matter unless you're selling that day, guys. Yeah, one of the guys asked why they think FTDs will start going higher. Because that CAT system, man. And phase 5, they can't keep pushing FTDs out and sham reset and closing them out, which I don't think people understand how big of a deal that really was. Like, they were doing it like crazy, and they had collateral, that unlimited
well,
collateral.
no matter what, they need liquidity to roll them, right? They need, that's why like when it goes stale, they need some sort of action to get retail traders back into a security because they need the movement of liquidity. Otherwise, you know, it's costing them money. But with these failure to delivers, right? Liquidity helps them roll them over. But like what you were saying, what we hope, right? Like things that we're seeing right now are looking pretty good as in reporting, but we've seen things like this before. But I will know for sure there's changes in the system when they get on the reg show. They stay on the reg show, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Like all these FTDs is going to lead to what I call like the D squeeze, right? Like there's going to be so many FTDs out there. But here's the next thing too is like yes, we'll see these failure to delivers, but are they held to the same level of requirements to where if they're on the reg show and they hit the point where they can no longer offer shorts to the market, which means, well, the terminology is you can no longer short sale, right? And
Yeah.
so as a market maker, a short sale is when you just provide a security to the market, right? You write something out. Usually it's cleared for on the DTCC because the DTCC is like the granddaddy. AMC comes to the DTCC and say, we want to go public, and here's they do the evaluations and all that, and they find a base price line where they're going to IPO at, and how many shares they're going to offer. And the DTCC kind of handles that. And then you have the market makers and the wholesalers that they come to the DCC, and these guys grab or clear it with them, and they offer the liquidity in the market and for their services to keep track of this information, and to do a service and to provide a competitive market by having multiple places that provide liquidity to they make money off of the transactions, right? For providing liquidity, that's where they make money.
Yeah. And stupid ass fines.
Dude, I forgot what was the level I was at. What was I talking about again before that? Sorry, I get on a rant and just.
I don't know, man. You were taking me all over. I'm trying to make lunch. I was supposed to go 10 minutes ago, but the stream is going, so I'm just gonna keep it going, dude. Let me see here quick. You were talking about fucking liquidity, the DTCC, and how they made their money, and then I said they also make it off their fucking puny fines, which their little cutbacks, that's another reason why they have to do those cutbacks and those small ass fines.
Well, I don't even. I know the DTCC is kind of turning a blind eye, yes, but there are things that allow these market makers and wholesalers to do what they're doing. I think it's called like X clearing or X, something like that. Like
yeah, it is. I heard that term. It's literally called X clearing.
So basically what it is where these market makers and wholesalers can trade between each other. And so on the way the DTCC sees it is like, oh, there's enough liquidity in the market right now. Everybody's trading back and forth. Everything's being self-cleared, like, because they can't question on like, okay, why is we're seeing all this volume, and then why is the float not being all bought up, right? So they have to question that. Like, there's a lot of volume, but nobody's coming to the DTCC for more shares or clearing things out, to my understanding. So they are on the assumption that everything's peachy and everything's just trading between each other. But I necessarily don't think that's the case. I think there's just a ton of failure to delivers, that are just being swept under the rug and hidden, right? Because as long as the DTCC doesn't see these failure to delivers, they're not going to question things. But our hopes are that the CAT system and these regulation changes do show it to where the DTCC has to come in and fix something. The failure to delivers have to be cleared out, and it's not just AMC and GME; it's everywhere. So I honestly don't even know how it's going to happen. I hope I would hope that AMC and GME what they'll do is force them to somehow let us have this MOAS through the failure to delivers. I more likely see it as, because it's at such an astronomical level. I could see it being to the point where they would just say, hey, you know what? We calculated it to be a fair value, and we say it's going to be $20,000 a share. Right. It's going to be something that would happen overnight. I've seen somebody post about it, and I haven't fully investigated it, but it makes sense, and it honestly might be the best thing to do, because like overnight, where they just decide they make this calculated value, and it has to be fair to pretty much everybody. And the next morning they're like, all right, they freeze the security. They say, this is what we decided, $20,000 a share. Everybody gets $20,000 a share. If not, we can handle it in litigation afterwards. Sue us, and we'll discuss it after that. Because I see that as safer, for the fact that if such MOAS were to happen with failure to delivers, it would happen rapidly and all at once, in a sense, unless they're correcting it as it bleeds out, which is a lot. But then that's just a continuous run up on like one security or multiple securities. And then people would just pull out of the stock market, and they would invest in these securities, right? If they know it's going to run up no matter what, everybody's going to pull out and everywhere else, invest in the security, and just take this free ride rip for lots of cash, no matter what price you enter in on. But so that's why I see it would make a lot of sense, and at $20,000 a share, I'd be completely fine with it. You know, I have less than 150 shares. I turned down a very lucrative job for a lot of cash because I felt that we were going to MOAS, 2-3 months ago, right? And so I wanted to go 110% and research and provide DD and and it's not just DD, it's educating the community. That's the other half, right? And then there's a large portion of content preparation too. So I just started getting into YouTube. It's a lot of work if you're doing things on your own. So I commend everybody that tries to get their word out there, and no matter what platform it is, it's a lot of work, right? And then you actually have to babysit and support it as well, especially if you're putting it on Reddit. Like I came from Reddit. Reddit was my home, and now it's just like it's the shill. It's so full of shills. Like they have subreddits just for karma boosting, right? If you don't have enough karma, just post a funny picture on the subreddit. It's meant to boost karma.
Dude, that's
like,
why I left Reddit, man. You know, I was all over that forever, and all of a sudden, dude, next thing I noticed, it was like, all right, if you put a meme up, you got 30,000 likes. You put up a DD, you spend 12 days on, dude. Well, you might get 20 or 30, and the bots will downlike it, no one sees it, and it's moved on.
So I encourage you guys, don't be lazy. Like, verify our work. Like, investigate it at some level, and if you have questions, our DMs are always open, right? We will help clarify it in some way, shape, or form, or just tweet about it, ask about it. The community is really good. There's a lot of people in the community that are at certain levels because they've been here and they've been following us and understanding it. And seeing it, so they help us out a lot too. So thank you guys for everybody in the community. Trust me, there's people in the community that help me out a lot. They DM me with great information that I can investigate and help me get it out there. And I try to let people know who supports me and where I get the source of information as well too. I know BIGGUMS does as well.
Right,
but
yes, your information, guys. Don't just take it and then just I found this, because then if you do that, you don't understand it. Now you're just spreading FUD. And that's what happens way too much because everybody just wants to be the one to give the information out first. Like I said, just always, like he said, do your DD.
I do want to make it very clear that I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen is like overnight they're going to sit there and say $20,000 a share, that's what it is. I'm saying that would be nice for the fact that nobody wants to go through a squeeze volatility, right? Nobody really fully wants to do that. There's a squeeze simulator out there. Have fun with that. But if somebody sits there and says $20,000 a share, please tell me that's not life changing, no matter at what level, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you got to realize there's this cost. This benefit versus cost kind of analysis here. Like, we don't necessarily want to hurt the world or the world market as well because these stupid people. Yes, maybe we should find a way to negotiate, a price. Maybe that's something we should do as whoever's invested. We can negotiate a price to make it less volatile and less stressful to us too. Like who wouldn't want to just wake up and just know that all your shares are worth a specific value that is like outrageously, like huge amounts of fuel to get you to the moon?
Well, yeah. And and we don't need to be so freaking greedy too, where everyone's talking about 50K, 100K, 500K. Why? If that happens, guess what? You're crashing the entire economy, and your 500K is worth nothing because the dollar is now collapsed. It's worth shit.
Now, keep in mind when we negotiate, if there's ever a negotiating phase, people, like keep in mind there's capital gain taxes, so keep that in mind. So what you negotiate those taxes in too, right? Like the more money we negotiate, the more money they make, right? You'll be like, oh, like I'll be fine of giving more taxes if you give us more money. It's the way, when I was in the military, and the way I see military discounts is I only ask for military discounts on services that I can tip on, because if I can get a military discount, I'll give 100% of that discount to the person that provided me service on top of the tip that they deserve, right? So.
And that's badass, and a lot of people don't do that. That's awesome, dude. John, thank you. You said, Wired, would you set fair price for us? DTCC? Sorry, I was upstairs making dinner, guys.
Who would set that fair price, right? That's tough, and you're gonna have people happy and you're gonna have people mad, right? Like you'll never please anybody with it. And like I said, I'm not necessarily saying it's gonna be that. I personally believe that would be as a majority for the population, and I'm not the population. This is just speculation from me. I think a lot of people would feel better knowing that it's just done with, and that there's a fair price that the mean of the population agreed to. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it could go this way. It could go to the way where we just do this violent, you know, FTD squeeze, not a short squeeze, FTD squeeze, and things go crazy, and we make some people make a shit ton of money, and some people maybe become bag holders, and some people make a moderate amount of money, right? And there's that volatility, and then there's the other phase, like where FTDs come to the light, where oh my God, these FTDs, if we were to correct it, it would just destroy the market. So we're just going to wipe these off the table, and the market's going to be honest from here on out, right? That's always a potential too. I don't want it that way, because a lot of people have lost money, not just on AMC and Jimmy. A lot of people, a lot of businesses have lost money. Lives have changed. I'm sure people have killed themselves over the harms that they've done, right? So just shaking your hands clean and saying things are good now is not compensation. And even just the AMC and GME squeeze, or this FTD squeeze and short squeeze itself, is not compensation for the people that they destroyed. Like, they completely destroyed many people's lives.
Fuck yeah,
because they want to become this monopoly, because it's better. I hate it's always for what's the term that for man, there's a common term they use.
What are you
It's
talking
for
about? Like,
efficiency. Efficiency. All these manipulative people, you'll hear efficiency out of them. It's all for efficiency. No, it's all for control. We're at a point where we have these giant monopolies, right? So how did I'm not saying this. I like Google, but they I'm sure, and Google's changed a lot too, and like the people that supported and grown Google's changed a lot as well. But there's Amazon as well. How did these companies go from one specific thing? Yes, you have to grow or die, right? Grow or die. That is the business model. But it's gotten to a point where a company online that offered books now offers data storage, and now offers data itself, or movies or video games, right? It's because they have absorbed other companies. They had enough capital to find weaknesses, and to be able to absorb, and plus they had these market makers and banks on their sides as well. You scratch your back, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And so now you have somebody that does this parasitic liquidity that no matter what, as long as the stock trades, it's going to die. Like, this is like, I don't even want to put it like in an Illuminati. Like, I'm big, and I like the Freemasons, and I like these groups they do make good movements, but there are bad actors in those groups as well.
Well,
but
there always will be.
They're worse than that, dude.
They
are
pieces of shit. They're the people that were pointing at us and laughing in fucking 2008. We know what they are, dude. They're fucking worthless, dude. That's why I got so pissed off with that fucking loser yesterday, dude. Like, usually people don't piss me off because I don't care if it's people on the internet. They're usually just people on the internet. Well, I don't give a fuck. But that dude was dude from the other side that was like, you're a fucking idiot, and you're a pump and dumper. And it's like, I'm a pump and dumper? You're literally a pump and dumper, and you're a fucking hedge fund betting against what you're saying, dude. Fuck off.
You want an honest person. Look at Papa Warren Buffett, right? Like, he's the granddaddy in the market. He's honestly like, he doesn't want anything to do with this new market and the manipulation, but he's so powerful. And I say he's grandfathered into this new market, right? Like, he's like the Godfather, right? Nobody wants to touch him. Nobody wants to touch what he's invested in.
Dude, look at how much his stock's worth. What could you do to him? What could you really do?
Because if anybody tried, he would crush them for one, right?
Because fuck their world.
And he doesn't talk about all this corruption. Like, he knows this corruption is going on because he has this deal. Like, if he doesn't talk about it, but he doesn't want to associate himself with it, if he doesn't talk about it, they'll leave him alone. Because they could they could all come together and destroy him. Anybody can be destroyed, right? Yeah, if it's created, it can be destroyed.
You get enough people in on it, yeah, exactly.
Yes, there's always a vulnerability. There's always a weakness. Everybody could be taken down. Doesn't matter. If you have enough time and resources, it can be done.
Fuck yeah. Like people are saying today, I mean, dude, look at even Trump, man. He was a former president. Dude's been completely silenced. And I don't even like Trump or support him. I'm just saying, just the fact he was a they could do that to a former president that quick. Like, anyone could be silenced, dude.
Yeah. And another thing is, like, I know Michael Burry knows a lot, right?
Yeah.
But I think I just
kind of
wish I could have a moment of conversation, 5 minutes, right? If you're hearing me, Michael Burry,
well, yeah.
I think at this point, if you're at this point of the conversation, you would understand what I'm expressing and at what level things are at, and it might change how you see things, or maybe you already know. Like, I just would like to know his perspective on the failure to delivers that saturate this market that has inflated and controlled this market, plus payment to order flow. And what direction? Because he can't even predict what the government's going to do and what these market
look at his
makers and
last
hedge funds
trades.
are going to
He's
do.
been wrong on his last couple trades, dude.
Oh yeah, it's always evolving.
So,
That's another
yeah,
thing. A lot
exactly,
of people
like,
feel that like he's a hedge fund. His trades are always going to be changing. Same with what's her name, the counterpart of Michael Burry.
Oh, fucking
Kathy.
I can't remember his stupid last name.
Kathy Woods, right?
Yeah,
Kathy
Woods.
Woods.
Yeah,
So
Woods. Yeah.
yeah, so like her stuff is changing all the time too. So like she pulled a lot from Tesla and then moved into Palantir, right? Things are always changing. So when people see these like icons as one specific thing, it's wrong. It's just the types of plays they do,
Yeah.
not the plays they have.
And even they're wrong. Like I said, Michael Burry, he's been wrong on his last trade. So always do your DD. Everyone, like I said, anybody in the world can be wrong.
And another thing I want to bring up, and now people are going to hate me. Get ready to hate me, guys. Hate me as much as you want, but guess what? Like I don't fully know, so I'm going to make that clear. There's a lot of things that we need to research, and this is my challenge to you guys to research on the next DD run is the market crash, right? If a lot of people feel that a market crash is gonna destroy these shorts and blah 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 and everything, no. If they're a hedge fund and they're involved in trading, if they're a market maker, if they're a bank, if they are a big industry whale, they've hedged for this months ago. They hedge for this on a weekly basis. They hedge for this on a daily basis, right? As the market changes, as the sentiment changes, their portfolios are hedging for crashes as well, right? Their portfolios are hedged in many different ways to keep things level at a baseline, if not profit off of it. I feel a lot of these people, these market makers especially, have been pumping crypto up for years, like 3-4 years, to get ready for this impending crash that's going to happen, or correction per se. Let me clarify: a crash, in my eyes, is an unexpected volatile move over 10%, like something people can't traditionally hedge for, right? So we're going into a market correction, and that's something people hedge for. They step into it. They don't know how much. It's just going off of verbiage, on Fed tapering and everything else going on in the world. They just know it's in a downward direction, but they're hedged for it. So, a market correction is not going to cause a MOAS, right? 10%, 20%, as long as it's going at a rate that's being clarified and people understand, it's not going to happen. A crash could potentially, like I'm talking about, oh yes, we're tapering, but then next, we're going down 5-10%, but then boom, we're down to 30%, 20% dip. That's a crash. That is an unpredictable, violent move that would cause margin, like margin calls. People would have to sell their securities or close, right? Close positions. But then margin in that aspect is only for short squeezes, not these FTDs. These market makers, they're just sitting in the back laughing, profiting off everything. They pumped up crypto. They have all this money in crypto. Market crashed. It's at its dippity dip. It's at its low. And what do? You buy the dip. And these market makers just pull out of crypto, right? They planned for this a long time. Crypto is at its lowest it's ever been. Just pull out of it, right? They're milking crypto, yes, to get liquidity in certain scenarios as we're going, but they're just going back in because that is the new Cayman Islands that they sit in, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be reported. It could be, and you can pass the buck to somebody else across the world. US wants to give UK some money, boom, done quickly. And so they're all got their money in this piggy bank for this market correction or crash per se. And at that dip, they're going to just pull out of crypto and they're going to buy that dip and just live happy through that bear cycle, right? Because after that, it's just profits from there. Because it always goes up. It always goes up. But when it goes up, it goes down. But then it always goes up again, right? And if it doesn't, the world's burning.
And like you said too, and if they do that with the crypto and do it that way, guess what? They get the stocks super discounted, and they probably actually get more stocks and then more holdings.
Yeah, a crash even, not a correction, a crash even. Like they would hope for a crash over a correction. Because all this industry whales, and not even industry whales. Yes, industry whales are in there, but I'm talking about like the banks, the market makers, the 1%ers that are sitting in all this crypto that they pumped up for so long. A crash is better than a correction, because a crash is just even better fire sale. Like you can hear the
Well, yeah, more
terminology
people are gonna
across the
panic,
web, across
sell off.
YouTube.
Yep.
The 1%, the high levels on the crash make money on the crash. Crash events are money makers, right? They want crashes that are sustainable, that aren't going to destroy economies for 2 years, right? There's a level of like crash acceptance, but even a correction is profitable, right? Movement is profitable. No matter what, movement is profitable. It's the people that have the data, the knowledge, or the control that make that profit. And we have none of it.
Yeah. Well, I agree, man. I mean, they're fucking sneaky. They're billionaires. There's people like in fucking on 9/11. There's people as the towers went down, they fucking were doing trading and doing all this insider bullshit and got rich as fuck out that, dude. These guys are literally heartless people. They don't give a fuck.
Vegas shooting? Vegas, like all the Vegas stocks shot, they sold off before the Vegas shooting, right before it.
Yeah, it's just like they know it all, man. It's fucking ridiculous.
Like they know threats. See, that's the thing, is they know threats are there. Some people have that inside information from knowing that the threat is potentially there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where profit. So that you have the one person, they if they make that trade, they're gonna look suspicious and they're gonna get reported. But if you pass that information down 20 people down the road, like 20 people, like if you just say, you have this normal chain of information that you go through, one person reports it there, and that money trickles back down. So now you have somebody in the system that, let's just say is FBI or NSA, that leaks the information. These bad actors that need to get the fuck out of my NSA and all that other shit. Like if you're fucking that terrible and you want to leak information out like that, get the fuck out, right? Get the fuck out of my country if you're that person. But there are people out there that leak this information, and then the bigger people make profit off of it, and it just trickles back down to them, right? And it shouldn't be that fucking way to start with. Sorry, I'm getting really mad now, but it's not necessarily they cause the events. It's about who gets that info. It's people make money off of information, like I mentioned, right? So they didn't cause the Vegas shooting. It basically, they knew about it, and as soon as that information went out, it trickled up. They evaluated the risk, versus benefit, right? And these companies can pull their securities out of out of Las Vegas, and then go back in if it turns out to be nothing, right? They can make that move, and it's not really at a loss of anything. But if something violent did happen, they did make a lot of money, right? Because then if somebody pulled out and then something bad happens, they pulled out, and then more people are going to pull out, and then you just buy that dip, and then the market makers are making money off that liquidity as well, as long as it's moving. So don't come to this understanding that people that like these guys are causing the events. It's just they have the knowledge of the information, right? Like so they knew there was a threat like out there. They couldn't figure it out fully, and they couldn't control it yet, but the information got out, right? It's about controlling secure information. That's another thing our country is moving toward, which I agree we should move to. Coming from a cybersecurity education and background, we need to be a lot more secure as a country in many, like we're talking about leaking information out, not just like within, to the market system, but to the world, right? There's information that can be used against us, not necessarily saying that the topic of the information is bad, but the topic of the information could be misconstrued and made into fake
or
news.
control.
You know what I mean?
Huh.
Yeah, or controlled, right?
So we believe
Or-
what they
yeah, or-
want, as we see every day in the fucking news.
Right, or manipulate off of even, right?
Because like you said, now it's about money. It's about who controls the media. And guess what? There's like 5 fucking people that own all the media. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the media is just honestly, the media is just the way I see it is the media is used to just keep. They're like the guys doing CPR on the market, right? They're the ones pumping it up and down, right? The news is what drives the market. So,
Yeah, exactly.
and as long as the market moves, the market makers and the banks make money.
And they need each
and
other.
then
In reality, they really do.
yeah, everybody does need each other. And granted, these market makers are put in a hard position as well. Like nobody wants to be a market maker, and that's
I don't
why
think Ken
that's
Griffin's
why
complaining, buddy.
right, yeah, and that's why we get these bad actors. Because they get so many exceptions because they are market makers, because nobody wants to be the market makers, so they get so many exceptions that it gets to a point where they can manipulate and take advantage of these exceptions. And that's
Yeah.
why, like, you saw a video, I don't know if you've seen the video with the CEO from Virtue America. The dude's smiling and laughing through the whole time. He's like, hey, you know what, we are just doing our jobs. We're providing liquidity to the market, right? Like nobody told us where we have to, like, they admit to it. Like they admit that they don't directly admit they're buying from the dark pool, but they said nobody tells us where we have to get our securities from, right?
Yeah. And on top of that,
Like,
they own the fucking dark pool. And they say, and then they're trading their own shares in it. They're allowed to legally trade their own shit in it. So, of course, they're going to do that. Why wouldn't they?
yeah, so he was happy and smiling, and all of them, and that's why they sit there and say we're dumb money. Because
Yeah.
we sit there and we have these assumptions of certain events happening that's going to cause the squeeze in the MOAS, but it's not that. It's deeper. It's way deeper than that. There's more control than that. And so they're like, oh, we're going to short squeeze, and everybody else that truly knows, they're like, who cares? That's not what's going on here. Like they know that as long as it's trading, the stock is going to go down. But I mean, now all the eyes are on these securities. It doesn't work quite well. Like it doesn't work quite like that now, right?
Yeah.
I think there's enough volume in there to drive the stock up, but we could have 90, I would say like 60% more of that volume hit the lit exchange, and just think of the price action from there, because not only are your buys lowering the price, right? Your sells are lowering the price.
Their
So
shorts are lowering the price.
yeah, so if you go to the lit exchange, you're increasing the price by 3 times fold, roughly, by A, not providing liquidity, by B, having price action,
And then
and C, you're costing them more money, because if they want that price to go down, they have to pay for the price to go down. You're paying them to drive the price down.
exactly.
You're giving them money to do it.
And on top of that, as we saw with the imbalances, if a whole bunch of buy orders go through, and the job of these market makers, they're liquidity providers for these exchanges. So if they don't have enough shares in there to provide the liquidity, they need to suddenly go into their reserve. And I don't think you guys understand how important that is. They can't do as much internalization. They're gonna have to, now that when they can't do that as much and things like that, now the other market makers can get involved. Now there might be a little more competition. They're not gonna always have the best bid ask, because guess what? They have all the shares on hand.
I'll tell you what's going to happen, right? I'll tell you, like, I'm not saying this can happen. And I'm not saying this is something, this is not market manipulation. I'm not saying we should all band together and do this all at once. I'm just saying we should educate each other on how the market works, and where your orders go, what happens, when your orders go in specific ways. But I want to let you know, if everybody bought on the lit, well, first of all, the price action will go up, right? So it won't be suppressed. So now it's going to have, if they want that price to go down, they're going to have to pay for that price to go down.
Your
They're going to
options will
actually
hit.
have to spend money. But here's the thing: is whenever all those orders hit that lit market, the liquidity in the lit market would completely dry up.
Yep.
Nobody's orders would complete,
That's those,
because
that's those imbalances.
because everything's in the OTC market, right? But what is in the OTC market? Failure to delivers, fake shares. Okay, so now if we're all sitting in the lit market, then next thing you know, we have a lot of pending orders that don't go through, and then the reserves are pulled, and then the next thing you know, they're pulling from the DTCC. The DTCC says we have this many of the float left. They'll say, this is how many shares we have. This is all I can give you, and so basically, then now they're forced to clear out of the DTCC. Next thing you know, 100% of the float is purchased if we're all in the lit market. When 100% of the float is purchased, no shares will be trading within the lit market, and no shares technically should be trading in the OTC market. But because we all go to the OTC market, the shares keep coming, but they don't pull it from the DTCC, right? So we aren't hitting this cap of the float when we've hit it like way long ago. But by going to the lit market, you force them to clear the reserve. Oh, first of all, clear whatever's being traded. So all these retail industry traders, everybody that has a security are trading, and it's going to get to a point where it trades, and it's going to trickle down because everybody's holding. It's going to trickle, and then all of a sudden there's no trading. like because we're all in the lit market, and all of a sudden there's like no trading. There's no trading, and so next thing you know, they're pulling reserves. There's no liquidity in the market. They have to pull from reserves to pull, get liquidity, and all of a sudden the reserves are gone. It starts nailing down, slowing down, and then all of a sudden now they have to pull from the DTCC. Next thing you know, the 100% of the float spot. Then what, right? Then what? If we're all in the lit market and 100% of the float spot, then what?
Yeah, exactly.
Then the price is forced to just drive up, right? Because nobody wants to get rid of it. If you want to buy it, oh yeah, you have to buy it. You have to buy it from me for like $2 more, right? And then that trades hands. And so everybody's trading on the lit market. Next thing you know, we got the game on our hands. We're all trading on the lit market. You want my shares? Like buy it on the lit market. Like if I want my shares, you have to sell it to me on the lit market. Then it's our game, and then the price is forced to just go up, right? That's it. From there. Now, does that handle these failure delivers that have been swept under the rug? No, right? That's a whole different story. Yes. So I'm telling you on a potential method to drive price up. Like this is how we drive price up. So like if we're playing this game of like, oh, we have to sit here and buy and hold and wait. Like I'm done looking. It's not about what people could do for you, right? You need to focus on the controllables, what you as people can do. You can educate yourself, you can educate each other, you can take action by directly the market. And while we do that, the price is because everybody's invested in AMC and GME, right? All the attention's on it. So the price is just going to go up and up and up and up. And you know what? That's what we want. We want it to go up. Is it necessarily squeezing? No, but it's raising the floor and the ceiling for when we do. So if they see this price continually to grow and 100% of the float sold, they're going to have to fix the problem. Otherwise, it's going to be a bigger problem, right? So this is what we can do as people. Yes, like we should speak out, we should educate, and maybe we might, and yes, we are getting help from the SEC, and maybe we might get help from other people, right? But right now, if you focus on the controllables, what you can do, we can drive the price up to the point where they have to do something about these. Okay. Like, so it's not about I'm just one person and I only got like 5 shares on Robinhood, or I only got 100 shares on Robinhood. Fine, park it, right? There a good like this is financial advice you can find on the web. So take it as financial advice. Like having multiple brokers is a way of kind of hedging losses if like a broker were to go down or something, right? So because a broker is only typically insured for $500,000, if that, right? You could have a lot more in potential, secure like benefits from one broker, and if it went down, $500,000 isn't much. But if you're diversified through brokers, you kind of protect yourself. It makes it a little bit harder to manage sometimes, but there are services out there that can consolidate brokers into one trading app. I think TradingView does something like that, but so yes, fuck, I was on Robinhood, right? People, I was on Webull. I have shares parked on them, just sitting there. Whatever. Like I think there's 3 shares. I transferred out of Robinhood. I have 3 shares on Robinhood.
I was on Robinhood the first day. I didn't know.
Three shares on Webull, right? You go in there, get your free shares, you dip out, whatever, park it. If there's a lawsuit, you have 3 shares or to be part of that lawsuit. The way I see it. But I personally am in with TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim. Amazing. Just for the fact I say it's the monopoly man, trading, the monopoly man broker. TD Ameritrade it's the rich guy broker. Like the super rich use TD Ameritrade for the most part. But now you have Thinkorswim. Like there's TD Ameritrade, they're the daddy, and Thinkorswim's the new hip child. They're kind of an application that integrates with TD Ameritrade and the services they offer and the customer service they have. And I'm not sponsored, guys, just let you know. But I will tell you, it is amazing. They don't charge you to buy shares, right? So this whole thing, oh, we're trying to get best price for our consumers. TD Ameritrade doesn't even charge you to buy shares. They only charge you like a dollar something to do an options trade. That's it.
Yeah, but do they
I mean, come on, guys. It's not. They're talking about efficiency and convenience. Whenever you hear efficiency and convenience, that's where you should sit there and say, okay, wait a second. At what cost? Because there's always a cost, right? And you should always know that cost. So, but what your mission, if you choose to accept, educate yourself, educate others, verify everything, trust no one, right? Buy directly at the exchange if you feel Your voice is being suppressed, and I say your voice because that's your buying, your buying pressure, your sentiment. That is your voice is being. If you feel it's being suppressed in the OTC market through payment to order flow, or through brokers that self clear and send it through the OTC, then I say buying directly to the lit exchange is going to give you the price action that you crave. But the only way that happens is if you do it. One person adds up. I have screenshots where I've just made my measly purchases of like 6 shares, and volatile, price action from that. I'll go to a day where there's like or a moment where there's just low trading, less than 100 shares, per tick, and then I'll throw in my order, like a market limit order, or about 26 cents higher than the actual ask, and I'll send it directly to the NASDAQ. I mean, the NASDAQ. I'm not talking about ARCA or IEX, NASDAQ or NYSE. I send mine directly in NASDAQ, and then boom, price action. Like you see the price action. So if you don't have a trading app that can narrow in like TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim can to like the literal tick, like the actual literal tick, message us. If you're gonna have like a decent buy order. And when I say a decent buy order, I like the fun ones of like 100 or less, not 100 or more. I'm talking about odd lots. That's a whole different story. Odd lots are like hedgy kryptonite, market maker kryptonite. Odd lots are kind of like the retail trader's cheating method in a sense. But like if you were to purchase, let's just say like 86 shares or something like that, let us know, right? Let us know when you did it exactly. Just try to let us know somewhat within a decent time frame. And then what I'll try to do is I'll try to get a tick by tick type screenshot for you, and just to see what kind of price action you have. Now, granted, it may not necessarily go up.
Wired, I'm gonna go. Everybody wants you to keep talking though, for sure. If you want to keep talking, keep going for it, man.
No, the secret of the sauce is always leave them hanging, man.
Otherwise, I put your YouTube in there, so obviously they can always follow you as well. But thank you guys. Thanks everybody for coming. I got to get going. I got to go to work though.
Yeah, before you go though, guys, Sundays we are going, like, Biggums hasn't agreed to it yet, but I am telling you 100% set in stone. Sundays from here on out, Sunday nights, we are going to do a Sunday fun day recap conversation just like this. We're going to have, last time we had Kringle, we had Boss, we had Jackson Hunter, we may have more.
They all want to do it
again
to the point. This Sunday. They all want to do it again, so.
Yeah, and we might even get people popping in, and like just people like you, like listening right now. We want to get to a point where we can get you guys in to ask questions verbally, right? I want you to be part, because you are part of the movement. I want you to be part of this. So that's the point we want to get to and grow to. So definitely share my YouTube, share Biggums YouTube, share everybody that you feel provides good DD that you can verify, and no drama. DD's not double drama, guys, right? It's due diligence. So, but I'm done talking. You got to go.
I got to go. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Later, guys. Take care. Be safe. Trust no one.